Welcome to Grimm3D. Today we're going to take a look at my makerspace. I'm going to show you my printer, some modifications I've made, and then hopefully move into a bunch of other videos here on my channel. Here's my maker's corner. As you can see, I have a bunch of shelves installed on the wall. There's my printer. It is a Monoprice Maker Select Plus with a bunch of modifications. Down here I have my filament recycle boxes, one for PLA and one for PETG. And then on the bottom there, that on the left is just my paper shredder, but on the right I have some airtight boxes for long-term filament storage. I'll put together a video to show you how I take care of that. I make sure my filament doesn't go bad or get any moisture in it. Let's take a look at the Monoprice Maker Select Plus. Wow, this printer's at a pretty good height for working on it, but not a very good height for filming. I might have to look into that later, make a few adjustments. So this is my Monoprice Maker Select Plus. I've had this printer for a while now. I really like it. It prints really well. It has a great resolution, and it's probably not the best or the fastest printer out there, but it makes really, really great parts. You can see I've done a few modifications to it. As it's stock, and maybe I'll throw up a stock photo. As a stock printer, it doesn't have all of these features, but let me take you through a few, and quite a few of these I got from Thingiverse. Some of them I designed myself. Any of the ones I've got from Thingiverse, I will throw up an attribution link in my comments down below, and you can look into those designs straight off of Thingiverse.com. One of the first things I made for my printer were these little isolation dampener feet. These are printed out of TPU. The design for this particular printer, these feet, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them on here. The designs were from Thingiverse. I'll throw up an attribution link in my comment section. They've worked really, really well. They fit just fine. They're at really good height, and they keep the printer a little bit quieter. I mean, this isn't a really quiet printer to begin with, but the dampeners seem to do a pretty good job. One of the second things I printed for my printer, and I designed myself, are these LED holders that I've put on my Z-brace. Now, I purchased the Z-brace from Amazon.com. I really like it better than a printed Z-brace because it's all metal, it's very low profile, it doesn't have any like gigantic sticky outy parts, nothing to catch on your arm or your skin, and it is super tight and very, very solid. The Z gantry doesn't move at all. If you push on it, pull on it, whatever, the Z gantry does not move. So that's this Z-brace off of Amazon, and then I designed these little clips with the flat side for these LED strips. I'm pretty sure the LED strips were from Amazon.com. They're just 12-volt LED strips. When I have a power supply, 12-volt power supply that runs those all by themselves. After I got done with lighting it up and the isolation dampeners, I wanted a better situation for the fan. The fan on a Monoprice, the original fan. Let's see if I can get around there and get down to where we can see it. The original fan is right here where I have my Grimm3D nameplate, but it was big enough that it blocked the view for anybody trying to watch what was being printed. So, off of Thingiverse, I grabbed, this is what they would call a Cobra cooler. The Cobra cooler printed fantastically. It was a one-shot print. It was very very good thingy on Thingiverse. Very good design. The Cobra cooler requires that you install one of these little rotary fans, like this one right here. That little fan right there works great. It's 24 volt, like the Monoprice Maker Select Plus is also 24 volts. It is running off of the same voltage line as the original part cooling fan, but is in the back where it's out of the way and makes it so that I can see what is being printed right down at the nozzle. It's a great little fan. So after I got cooling and dampening out of the way, I decided that I needed some tool holders. For the most part, this tool holder right here is just a box. It bolts on to the actual Monoprice Maker Select bolts up front. It's very stable, works great. The original design came from Thingiverse.com, but then it was modified to fit the kind of tools that I wanted to put in it. Currently, it has a couple of tubes of super glue. It's got a great holder for my needle nose pliers, which I use for pulling off rafts, among other things. Large X-Acto knife. And then there was a compartment in the back. So let me raise this up so you can see. There was a compartment in the back right here that I used to keep my my glasses in that I use for magnifying the small parts that I work with. But I noticed the glasses didn't fit very well in there, so I don't put them in there anymore. The second tool holder that I designed, once again, came from a design idea from Thingiverse. This one has pretty much everything. Here's my glasses, which I don't really need reading glasses, but I'll tell you what, these 2.0s are a lifesaver when you're working with a tiny razor blade and tiny parts, trying to remove little tiny pieces. Huge lifesaver. So there's my glasses. I have a couple of scrapers here on this pin off to the side to help with part removal. Even though I don't really use SD cards anymore, there's an SD card holder. There's a place here for my flush cutters, full-size pair of scissors. This is my set of calipers that I use quite a bit. Behind the scissors, let's go around there. Behind the pair of scissors hidden back here, so my grandkids can't get it, is the X-Acto knife I use most often, and the cap was printed off of Thingiverse. It was a pretty good design, but not quite tight enough, so I put a couple rubber bands on it so that it tightens on the X-Acto knife a little bit better. And then in the very back, you can see right here, let me remove these for you. Right here is my original Allen wrench set that came with the Monoprice Maker Select Plus. You'll also notice that because the Maker Select Plus has a steel frame, I'm able to mount things like my tweezers, which probably everybody that's 3D printed knows you gotta have a decent set of tweezers. All I did was super glue a magnet on the back there, and they stick right on there. Same with this brush that I use for cleaning stray filament off of the print head when it gets dirty, messy. That took a couple of magnets to get that there. A little bit of super glue works great. And then right back here, this is one of my greatest tips. When you're trying to level a bed, don't bother using the cards or a piece of paper. This is much, much better. I grabbed this from Harbor Freight. It came in a whole kit, but I just yanked this one out because it's the only one I want, 0.1 millimeter, for leveling the bed. It slides right underneath the print head, It works fantastically, it doesn't wear out, and because it's made of steel, spring steel probably, I can magnet that right to the frame of my Monoprice Maker Select Plus. Same as I can do with this. This is a machinist's ruler. Just got this on Amazon. It's kind of short, but it's fairly accurate, stiff, straight. It's got American on one side and metric on the other side. Personally, I don't know why we need two. Metric seems to be the best system out there, so we should be using that, but you kind of have to have both, even at that. So let me show you this little trick. The fan on my Maker Select Plus that cools the print head runs all the time. I got really tired of sticking my finger in it when I tried to move the print head around, so I went looking for a fan cover for this 40mm fan. I found this particular cover with the spider on it from Thingiverse. I adjusted the STL file to pause between layers so that I could change colors, and I put this, I think, kind of awesome looking red spider on the side of my fan cover. That was pretty fun. I got a daughter that doesn't like spiders much, but hasn't wigged her out too much. There's a close-up look of my spider fan cover, but I'll try to put a attribution link to the original Thingiverse file in the comments below. You also might have noticed that I don't actually use the built-in spool holder on the Maker Select Plus. I've actually switched to this shelf-based multiple spool setup. These spool holders I got, once again, off Thingiverse.com. It's a great place to get stuff. They all run on a rail here that keeps them nice and tight. They don't wiggle unless I tell them to. And they will hold just about any type of spool, about any size. And it makes it super awesome, super quick when I want to do multi-layer prints, like this one right here. Okay, that one right there has 3 different colors in it, 3-layer print. When I want to switch my filament back and forth for multicolored, multi-layered print, having everything just right above me, ready to go, makes a huge difference. This print right here, my Grimm3D logo, which I might eventually turn into some kind of maker coin. See if I can get the glare out of there. Okay, this one is 5 layers. 5 layers to get this. Okay, the Maker Select Plus does layer switchovers really quick, really easily. Works great. I've done it quite a bit. I really enjoy the multicolored print. If you look closely, well, maybe not too closely, but if you look, you'll notice that this shelf's only half full. I have my Monoprice Maker Select Plus over here, which is an awesome printer. Was a great starter printer. But you'll notice that this side over here is totally empty. Wonder what could go on that side. How about that? Do you know what that is? That is a just barely received by me Prusa i3 Mark III with the upgraded multi-material unit ready to go. So stay tuned for my unboxing video, and I will put together videos of assembling that kit, and then obviously throw down a bunch of videos of using it, making the multi-material unit work, seeing how well it cranks stuff out. Pretty excited about that. I almost forgot. One thing that most people may have noticed in my video is this little attachment right here. I have my Monoprice Maker Select Plus set up, running on Raspberry Pi 3. into the USB. And you'll also notice that I have a camera attached to the bed. This camera arm and the camera case and the bed attachment, most of that came from Thingiverse. The bed attachment was highly modified to make it work the way I wanted it to work, and so was this last piece of the camera arm. Oh, and have you seen one of these? This is about the coolest print I think I've done so far. Just got some little prints in there. Dropped one. All right, but that's very red on camera, isn't it? But that's an iris box. Prints in one piece. Sits on the bed right like that. I was able to print this the very first try. Monoprice Maker Select Plus. It's never let me down. What a great starter printer. Well, that's about it for this episode of Grimm3D. Please let me know in the comments down below if there's anything else I got going on here that you want to know more about, or if you have any comments, tips, or tricks for me. Please, I'd love it to keep the comments civil, because I have grandchildren that love to watch my channel. Subscribe if you want. Don't subscribe if you don't want. Mostly just putting it out there for whoever would be interested. This is Grimm3D signing off. I'll see you later.